going to do here today is show you how well the StopFire, the world's best fire extinguisher, works. But first, I'm going to introduce you to my little family. This is my youngest son, Aiden.
Hi.
My other son, Ethan.
Hi.
And my wife, Debbie. So, 65% of all of your fires that are going to happen in a home are going to occur right here in your kitchen. We believe in the StopFire enough, we're going to light a fire in our own kitchen. And go ahead. And as you can see, it went out just like that, no mess, nothing to clean up.
I have personally used the AKE extinguisher on an oven fire in a residential home. It is an amazing extinguisher. It put the fire out very fast, very efficiently. There was no mess, no cleanup whatsoever of the byproducts of the fire after using it. I would recommend the AKE extinguisher to any person or any fire department.
I purchased this fire extinguisher back, I believe, in around 1991, and shortly after, I carried it on the combine, and I don't know if it was that same year, maybe the year after, we had a dryer fire, and luckily I just happened to be right across the road combining. My wife called me on the radio and she said there's a lot of smoke coming out of the dryer, so I hightailed it up here, and the dryer was on fire. It hadn't gotten too carried away yet, and I grabbed this fire extinguisher out of my combine, and with just a couple, 3 squirts, the fire was out, and that was the end of it. We drained the corn out of the dryer to make sure none of the corn was still on fire. And I think within an hour, I was back up and drying again with no damage whatsoever to the dryer, other than a little bit of cosmetics on the paint job, you know. And up till that point, I was a little apprehensive about, you know, if this thing was really as good as what they had told me it was, but that made a believer out of me. And I believe it was maybe another year or so later, with this same fire extinguisher still in the combine, my operator that was running the combine had a bearing go bad, and it caught the combine on fire. Basically, some of the trash that had built up around the bearing caught on fire. And I happened to be in the field with the truck at the time, and I saw the smoke coming outside of the combine, and I quick stopped him. We opened up the side panel, and I told him to grab that fire extinguisher, and I didn't know if it would still work or not. And lo and behold, we pulled the trigger, and one shot, and the fire was out again, and the thing is still good. And there's still a charge in this thing, you know, after 20 years, you know.
We used this fire extinguisher to put out the car fire. 5 shots from this fire extinguisher it took to douse the fire out. And we relit it again and used a chemical fire extinguisher, a regular 20-pounder, and I used half of the 20-pounder to put out the fire, the same amount of fire as this did with 5 shots. As a fire chief, I would highly recommend this fire extinguisher. I believe this is the world's best fire extinguisher.
All right, here we go. And it's out. And there's absolutely no mess.
When we realized we had a fire, you know, all there was smoke that we could see coming outside of the combine, and we opened up the side panel, and the fire itself was up underneath the combine where it was virtually hard to see, and we couldn't visually see the fire because everything was smoke. And with this fire extinguisher, you know, we just aimed it up in there and pulled the trigger and give it a squirt, and just immediately the fire was gone. You know, this product somehow magically goes right to the fire and extinguishes it.
What I'm going to show you is how ineffective a dry chemical fire extinguisher is when there's any kind of an obstruction, which you might have if you had a fire on, say, a piece of farm machinery, a person's chimney, or a car engine. There's your fire. Still won't go out. Still won't go out. Now, let's take some StopFire. All it took was a little squirt and that fire's out. All right, so now we've got a good fire going. I can see the flames all throughout here. All I'm gonna do is just simply spray it underneath, put that out, and spray it into the different access points of the car.
empty the whole thing in there. There. When you open the hood, the fire's out. That's it. All you have to do is just spray it into the grill, fire's done. All you got to do with your stop fire is spray your stop fire into the chimney and watch what happens. You do not have to go up on the roof and spray downward like you would with a powder unit. Simply spray it into the chimney and the fire goes out.
I've been in the fire service for 17 years. I believe that Stop Fire is the world's best fire extinguisher. We recently used it on a chimney fire. It was actually both a wood stove fire and a chimney fire, and the Stop Fire extinguisher not only put out a roaring stove fire, but it also put out the chimney fire at the same time.
These fire extinguishers, I know they've saved me a corn dryer, they've saved me a combine, and having them around the farm here now, I have full confidence in them. And if one of these are close by, if there ever is a fire, they're going to save us a lot of grief and a lot of repairs or replacement in the future.
This right here, it hasn't been shaken for 10 years. It has not been serviced for 10 years, but yet it's hanging here, really nothing more than a decoration.
I know first impressions for some people are probably going to be that it's quite a bit of money to spend for a fire extinguisher, but you have to look at the big picture. You know, we're out here spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on each piece of equipment, and you know, the cost of this fire extinguisher is so trivial to what we spend on equipment nowadays, and you know, it can save so much money by putting out a fire quickly rather than having the whole piece of equipment destroyed or damaged to where it's going to require tens of thousands of dollars of repairs, and to say nothing about the future headaches you're going to have from things that get missed in the repair process. So I think these things are worth their weight in gold, and it's just nice to have the security of having that thing in the machine with you at all times.
You certainly would not want to do this with any sort of dry chemical fire extinguisher. And you certainly would not want to do this. That's a live outlet. It does not harm the computer, and it does not conduct electricity, or I certainly wouldn't do it myself. I just want to show you how safe Stop Fire is, and use my own skin as an example. Stop Fire won't harm anything. Go ahead.
I had a fire in my building, saved the building and the piece of equipment, and it's a Miracle Juice AKE Stop Fire. I recommend it to everybody.
Another thing I love about these things is their small, compact size. They're so easy to have on any of our equipment. They take up virtually no space. They can be laid down, hung up, whatever direction they need to be, or wherever you have room to put them. It's not like having a great big bulky powder style fire extinguisher that you need to have a bracket hanging in an upright position and all that. So they're very convenient and very handy to have around anything, in no matter how much room or how little a room we have to store them in.
This has a limited warranty for good reason. If you were to hold this in your house and accidentally drop it, it's already leaking. You saw powder come out of it. The Stop Fire, nothing's wrong with it. What would you rather have protecting your family? Something with a limited warranty that can't even withstand that, or something with an unconditional guarantee that it doesn't really matter what you do to it, and if you do happen to break it, we're going to replace it for you.
I've had the opportunity or misfortune or whatever you want to call it to use the other ones.
Really? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, we had a fire going, and I grabbed this big container, you know, this big fire extinguisher, and I shot her at this fire. I thought, boy, this fire is going to be history.
Yeah.
2 seconds. 1, 2. And the thing was done. Never phased the fire.
Wow.
You know, I thought maybe they'd last, 30 seconds or something. I could shoot it on this fire, you know. 1, 2, and then it was done. I was so mad I could have thrown the thing right in the fire.
Now, as you just saw, StopFire, obviously pound for pound, is far more effective than your regular dry chemical fire extinguisher. It's non-corrosive, it's fast, you do not have to maintain the unit, and with a lifetime guarantee, there simply is no better choice than StopFire.
You got a fire that could occur in anyone's garage. Now imagine this very fine corrosive powder, that cloud, is going everywhere in your garage, your house, damaging anything it touches. All right, we're going to let it get going a little bit, Aiden. Okay, go ahead. Just that fast, the fire went out. And once again, if a 4-year-old can do it, anybody can do that.
I am going to replace this with this for one simple reason. This will do the job if it needs to be done.
This is truly an investment to protect their investment all around. The buildings, the machinery, their home, their family. What matters to these folks most, now they have StopFire, the world's best fire extinguisher, protecting their investment.
I just think that these things got more punch.
To my husband and I, we didn't even think about the price because it's an investment. And if we never have to use them, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're hoping for. We never have to use them, but we know if we have to, we've got the best.